What's up, San Antonio? It's your girl JJ going live on Facebook during this COVID-19 year. I'm going to be talking a little bit about sports, music, things going on in San Antonio, and even a special guest or two may pop in. Feel free to share, comment throughout the show, and I hope you enjoy. All right, guys, we are back for a little NCAA talk here on King's Court with JJ. Of course, I got my cousin Aaron back with me. Aaron, it is great to have you back.
Glad to be back.
I see you're rocking your U of H hat, which is pretty cool.
Oh, of course. I wore this specially for this.
Well, I have my Final Four shirt on today. Actually, it's on this side. I can't figure out which side it is. It's on one of these. But I got a couple of hats I'm going to wear today because we got a lot to talk about. I mean, It's NCAA basketball season, and we finally get to celebrate this year. I mean, last year we didn't have it. We were so close and then fell short, unfortunately. But, man, let's just jump into it. 64 teams, both men's and women's. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, last year, I think one of the most things I was disappointed in missing was the March Madness tournaments. I mean, it's something that, every year I think people, whether they like basketball or not, they look forward to it just because of the passion, the excitement, everything that goes on in the tournament. I mean, it's just something that people look forward to, and filling out brackets, having fun with your friends. I mean, it's definitely something that was missed last year.
It sure is, and I tell you what, this year, due to COVID and stuff, teams like Duke are not in it. It's kind of shocking that they're not in it. But there is something going on down there. Who knows really what's going on? But, I mean, we have so many amazing teams, both in the men's bracket and in the women's bracket for the first time ever.
Yeah. It's surprising that you don't have blue bloods like Duke, Kentucky in the men's bracket. They've just been so successful for so long, and especially with coaches like Krzyzewski and Calipari, you expect them to be in there every year. And I think this is like the first year in like 30, 40 years that there's no Duke or Kentucky in the tournament. And maybe it's time for somebody else to start joining that long list of blue bloods, but it's definitely going to be interesting without those two teams, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, let's start off in the West. The West has some pretty good teams. Of course, Oklahoma, obviously, Virginia, USC, Gonzaga, which by predictions of ESPN, they're predicted to go to the actual Final Four round. What do you think about some of those selections just in the West?
I mean, Gonzaga, they've been the best team all year. Undefeated. Nobody's really come super close to beating them. I think even the close calls that they've had, they ended up pulling away near the end. I mean, they were obviously the best team in the country this year. But in the NCAA tournament, anything can happen. I have them going to the Final Four. I have them going to the national championship in my bracket because I just don't see anybody on that side of the bracket beating them. And who knows, maybe nobody on the bracket in general can beat them. They're just so good with their guards. They score at will, and they play good defense to go along with that.
I think in that West bracket, I see Iowa, kind of being in that mix for the Sweet 16. I just think, they got a really all-around good team, great center. I mean, I think they have a lot of power behind them. Will they advance to the Final Four? I don't think they beat Gonzaga, but hey, I'm giving Iowa a shot.
Yeah, and I like Luka Garza a lot. He's a very talented player, easily going to be in the NBA next year or the year after that, depending on what he decides to do. I have them, getting knocked out by Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. The firepower of Gonzaga is going to be hard to beat. And honestly, it might not happen.
So let's jump over to the East because, of course, Michigan made it. But, I was talking to my best bud in Michigan, and I was just telling her, hey, I'm a little scared for them because they lost their number one shooter due to injury.
Yeah, they lost their number one shooter, and there's some tough teams in that side of the bracket. I mean, you have Alabama, who honestly I thought kind of got a little screwed over I think, they won the SEC regular season. They won the SEC tournament. Any other year, they would probably, if this was Kentucky, they would be a number one seed in this bracket. And, it's definitely going to be hard for Michigan going forward without their shooter. But, Alabama, Texas, whoever comes out of this Michigan State and UCLA first four matchup is going to be tough to beat. Florida State's going to be very tough to beat. So, I mean, there's some really good teams on that side of the bracket. And, Michigan's going to have their work cut out for them. Somebody's going to have to pick up the slack.
Yeah, that's true. And you're right about the Michigan UCLA, because they obviously play on the 18th. Then they'll see, that winner plays obviously BYU in the tournament. But, Texas is in this bracket. UConn, one of my other favorite teams. But, if UConn does beat Maryland, they'd have to play Alabama. And unfortunately, as much as I love Connecticut and, the legacy of that basketball program before, I don't see Alabama. I mean, I don't see them beating Alabama. So, unfortunately, that's a tough one right there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Alabama could have easily been a one seed.
Mhm.
UConn, they're still a good basketball program, but things have changed from the last, 8-10 years ago, where they were constantly in the national championship. In fact, I think I witnessed them win a national championship down in Houston back when they had Kimba. And, like I said, that's a tough side of the bracket to go on. And a lot of good teams that could come out of there. I had trouble picking that particular part of the bracket because you have Alabama, you have Michigan, you have Texas, you have all these competitive teams.
You have Georgetown, which, Georgetown can slip by us real quick and easy, with Patrick Ewing at the helm. I think, that's another one we got to kind of keep an eye on, but I just don't know. They play Colorado in the first round, and then the winner would play Florida, because I Florida State or UNC. So I don't know.
Yeah, Georgetown. I have a bad history with Georgetown in the tournament. They always seem to let me down if I were to pick them. But Patrick Ewing, he has the heart that you want as a coach, coaching for his alma mater, trying to do things. I think I saw that he's the first person ever to lead a team to the tournament as a player, and the first one to lead their alma mater as a coach. So we'll see how it goes. I just can't ever trust Georgetown to go very far in the tournament anymore. As much as I want to, it's just so tough.
Texas too. I think Texas kind of slid their way in there as well. They're the number 3 seed though, but I don't see Texas kind of really making it through. But who knows? Like you said, that is a tough bracket. The East is tough. Let's move on to the South. Of course, Baylor and Hartford. Hartford first time in the tournament. I know Connecticut is going crazy over there, but Baylor's gonna win. I put Baylor there because I mean they're going to go somewhere. To me, I think they fit in this bracket to where they can actually succeed through the tournament.
Yeah, and they got a pretty good draw. Just looking at it, Villanova having to deal with COVID. They're good. I mean, that UNC is just not the same North Carolina that we're used to seeing. Texas Tech is very solid, but the Big 12 was so competitive this year. If you look down the list of these teams on these brackets, and the Big 12 is a staple in this bracket for sure. Baylor has been the second best team all year. They went the longest undefeated until with Gonzaga, and then they lost their first game like after 20 something 30 wins, and I mean they're a very good basketball team. But they have proven to be a little bit vulnerable in certain places, and it could be interesting. Let's see, what did I put them? I have them getting to the Elite Eight. I actually have Ohio State coming out of that part of the bracket to make it to the Final Four. So,
wow.
I feel like down the stretch, Baylor just hasn't been as dominant. But again, I'm just kind of picking teams here. They settle it on the court, and It all comes down to who wants it more in this tournament, and
Mhm.
it's not unlikely to see teams be dominant like they were early in the season or slip up. It's the nature of the tournament, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, to see all the Big 12 teams in there, Texas, Texas Tech, Baylor, I don't think I've remember seeing that many Texas teams in the tournament.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I mean, there's so many Texas teams. I mean, with Texas, Baylor, Texas Tech, Abilene Christian, North Texas. I mean, I think there's like 8. I forgot U of H, and I'm literally
Mhm,
wearing their hat today. There's so many Texas teams. Texas really showed out in college basketball this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially if a few of those teams, there's a good shot that we could have 2 or 3 of those teams in the Final Four. I mean, and just really put basketball in Texas in a good spot.
mhm, definitely. As you move down to the Midwest, that kind of bracket to me is I just don't see the Midwest being really heavy this year. You have
Yeah, I was super excited seeing where U of H was.
Mhm,
I feel like they have a very good path to the Elite Eight.
they do.
Um, and they're gonna and I've been heartbroken a few times the last couple years with U of H. They lost to Michigan on the final play of the game. They lost to Kentucky where they were oh so close to just squeaking by. And this year, we got Kelvin Sampson back, and he's been a tremendous coach for U of H, and they are so technically good and
Mhm,
fundamentally good that they're going to be a very hard out for anybody playing them. And of course, I picked them to go to the Final Four. I actually picked them to go to the national championship, but uh, you know,
Hey, with a 24-3 record, I probably would too, Aaron. I mean, I think
yeah,
you got a good seed there. You got a good yeah, I mean, because you're gonna get through, obviously, Cleveland State. You're gonna move past Rutgers because I think Rutgers shocks people against Clemson.
hmm
I don't know why.
hmm
I'm picking Rutgers. And then you go on, it's either Syracuse, West Virginia, and those are beatable teams for them.
yeah.
Very
I mean, you
capable.
could also see San Diego State in there. San Diego State has been a pretty solid program for the last few years. Um, Yeah, I mean, the teams that worry me on this side of the bracket, Oklahoma State can get hot at any time. Illinois, they're the Big Ten championships, of course, champions. I'm gonna be worried about seeing them. Um, but other than that, Houston's got a really good path to the Elite Eight, to the Final Four.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna throw this stat out because I was using it to defend my choice to one of my friends. There's only one team in the country that is in the top 10 of offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency, and that's the University of Houston Cougars. So I believe in them. They've done a great job all season. So let's not stop now.
Yep. I mean, this bracket looks pretty good to me. I mean, it's a shocker. Obviously we talked about that. We don't see some of the normal teams we do see, but this is going to be fun. It's exciting. Um, we won't call it a bubble, but they're going to be in that special atmosphere.
Mhm.
Kicking off the first few rounds over at different facilities. I know that. Same thing in San Antonio. That's what they're going to do here. We'll get into the women's bracket here in a bit, but I just, keeping them together, keeping them in one city, it's gonna be like the NBA. The team stepped up when they were stuck together, and that's all
Mhm.
they could do was stay together and concentrate on basketball. And I just think we may see some shockers too. We may see some shockers of teams that kinda gel together at the perfect time here in the tournament right now. And it's gonna see how it all plays out, but I'm excited. I can't wait for it to start, whether it's men's, women's, having it back on the TV even now with them talking about games, the Georgetown games, they're talking about it right now on ESPN and the Colorado. I mean, who knows? Does number 5 Colorado shock Georgetown? Maybe. I mean, that's how crazy this tournament is.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a big upset. There's always upsets all around. Um, and again, that's what makes this tournament so special. It's truly not about the size of the school. It's about the size of the heart of the players. And you see it every year. I don't think we're going to see a 16 taking down a 1 like what is it? University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC did to Virginia a few years ago. I don't think we're going to see that this year. I think the ones are too good to have that happen. But I'm ready to see some drama. I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself for the next 2 days. Thank God it's St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday. I won't even have to think about basketball.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and, for fun, throw your 4 teams out there in the West.
My Final Four?
Go ahead.
I have Gonzaga,
okay,
Ohio State, Alabama, and U of H.
Gotcha. Okay, I have I'm going with Gonzaga. I'm going with Michigan, of course. I am gonna go with your Houston team out in the Midwest because of the defense, but I'm going to have to say I'm going with Baylor in the South.
All right.
We'll see what happens. It'll all turn out pretty soon. We're gonna get excited here. Friday, Saturday night, we really start to see some action going on. Obviously, on Thursday, though, some of those teams do fill in. Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern will play. Let's see who else will play. Norfolk State, they're gonna play on Thursday. Michigan State, UCLA will play to see if they, can win in. And it's going to be a tough one, but it's going to be fun. It is really going to be fun. When we're moving on to the women's bracket now, and I have been able to work the Final Four a couple of times in my career, and now to be here for the Final Four, and I say Final Four, but it's really not even the Final Four. It's for the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing everybody moving in, ESPN and everything they do, just watching these shows on a daily basis and some of this stuff and podcasts that are popping up with the NCAA brackets. I tell you what, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for them to put on these shows constantly. And I give credit to all these people from ESPN doing this. Some of the themes they've come up with. The men's side kept Midwest, West. Of course, women got to spice it up a little bit. They have the river walk segment. They have the Mercado. They have the Alamo region. So they kind of named it San Antonio, which I thought was pretty great that they did that. But there's some big time teams coming here, and San Antonio is about to get shocked with some basketball. You have Stanford coming in, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Northwestern's obviously still waiting to see who they play, but Louisville too. Louisville women, whew, and they are good. But some of these brackets, Connecticut, some of the Connecticut news today is that Gino Auriemma, favorite coach from Connecticut, has COVID. He tested positive for COVID today, which is kind of shocking. He's going to be out 10 days, so probably won't be able to join the team till March 24th, maybe. That's a big deal when you don't have your head coach.
Oh, absolutely. And prayers up to Gino Auriemma. Hopefully he can get through this and not have any complications with anything. He can through on the UConn. Yeah, I did see that he's definitely slated to miss their first game of the tournament. With them being a 1 seed going up a 16 seed, I don't see too much being shaken up there. But prayers up to Coach Auriemma and hope we get through this and get back on the court, because UConn's a lot different without him. And
of course,
that he's the familiar face that you see on the sidelines year in and year out, and you just know that he's gonna have that team ready to play.
And Chris Daly is an amazing assistant coach. He's been with him for quite a long time. I mean, all his career at Connecticut, pretty much. But I think she can hold down the fort. But going into such a big tournament like this, and when your coach really needs to be there because of the different things going on, the interactions and stuff that you're not really going to get to have, it takes a great leader and somebody with a lot of experience in the tournament to lead your team to that. And Gino Auriemma's the mastermind behind this. And man, I'm gonna miss him if he does not make an appearance. I think he will. March 24th, he'll be around, but they're gonna take on some tough teams, and they start on Sunday. They take on High Point, which I'm not gonna be mean, but Connecticut's gonna. Um, so I don't think he'll be needed, but when you get into the Syracuse and South Dakota State game, Syracuse is obviously going to win. They're number 8 in the nation. We're going to need him. We're going to need him on that sideline. He's got too many young players on that team, and he's going to be needed for sure.
Oh yeah, I see. My buddy Patrick is saying that Louisville is gonna take it all this year. We'll see, buddy.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm gonna hand it to them there. They're good, but I picked them too. But Stanford, Tar Vanderdeer, I just ranked number 1. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be the final 4 of that bracket for sure. Michigan, obviously, Michigan women are staying in it as well. Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Marquette. There's some notable names in here. I was gonna laugh and text Tim, but Wake Forest women made it, but of course Wake Forest men didn't make it. But I was gonna throw that out there to him. But South Carolina, another number 1 seed. Man, Dawn Staley really has that team going. I think it's going to be a great year for them. I have them coming out of their side of the bracket. I don't think the Texas women can hang on as much as I thought they could, but they're 6 in the nation, and I just can't see them hanging on against South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina for the last couple years has been a powerhouse coming out of the SEC, and I've watched a few of their games when I'm at work or just want something on for background noise, and they're very, very good.
Yeah, and then also on the other side you have NC State, of course, was in the tournament against South Carolina, and then Arizona, Rutgers, Michigan State, Texas A&M made it. Texas A&M women's ranked number 2. Kind of fell short in the Big 12 tournament, but I don't know about them this year.
Well, A&M's in the SEC now, so you got to remember that.
Yeah.
But A&M women's a lot better than their men's. There's a lot of excitement around that team. I actually got to meet Coach Gary Blair the other day at the Texas A&M baseball game, and he's super nice, super nice man. Living in College Station, it'll be hard for me to root against the Aggies, especially after meeting Coach Blair and him being so nice. So hopefully they can make something happen. But the SEC tournament would be nice, but a national tournament would be a lot nicer.
I know. I can't believe I said Big 12, but yeah, I'm just not used to them I in the Big 12. I really do. I miss the rivalry of Texas and Texas A&M. I mean, I don't know if you remember that time. I'll say it like that, but I remember Thanksgiving. That's the game we watched, and went crazy at your grandma's house during that time. But yeah, it was fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wish they would bring back at least make it every couple of years. Find some way to bring that game back, because it would Texas A&M. That's a game that everybody in the state watched, no matter what school you went to, no matter who you root for. That was the game that everybody would watch every Thanksgiving. And please bring it back. Please bring it back. I think both sides are ready for that rivalry to be back.
That would be awesome. This tournament starting, I always laugh because I'm officially say that my life is over after this week because of the tournament. San Antonio is going to host all the games. Some of them on the first round of the major start of the tournament will be played at St. Mary's, UIW. But even in Houston, I saw today, they're going to go ahead and play 1 or 2 games in Houston, and then those teams will come back down here to San Antonio and play the remainder of the tournament here. So I think it's a pretty good idea, kind of like a bubble, but not really. But I just hope I get to see UConn in the building. I know I will at some point. And and the future WNBA stars as I see it coming alive. And this is a first year that I think she is from Texas, a college player in her junior year jumps to the WNBA. First
Hmm.
time, first time ever
Wow.
to have it. And how ironic during the WNBA's 25th anniversary season. I can't believe it's been 25 years already. Man, you were not even born yet, were you?
No, I was just born, actually. I'll be
I was gonna
26 this year.
I was gonna say because the Comets, that was mean back then.
Yep. 90, 96, 97, 98, 99.
Yep. There's Carol Swoops and Tina Thompson. Oh, I'm kind of excited. I might get to see Tina Thompson. I'm just want to see if she's traditionally does wear the lipstick every day, even when they. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for that at the Alamo Dome. But we have one sad note. Our favorite player in the NFL leaving us, Aaron. Leaving us. Drew
Yeah.
Brees is leaving us. Can you believe that?
I don't think I was ever ready for it. Despite all signs saying that he was calling it a career, you
Mhm.
know, he's one of the best to ever do it. I mean, what he meant to New Orleans, what he meant to the NFL, the way he carried himself, the respect that he earned. I mean, he's one of those guys that you couldn't root against. And he goes out. We'll see how long his records hold. Especially with Tom Brady still kicking it. I know he's right behind him. I thought he was just going to try to keep playing to hold out, but um, you know, such a special career that we got to witness. Such an incredible person. I got to meet him once, and he was amazing. You know,
Forever
uh,
jealous of that picture, by the way.
yeah, yeah. We got to meet him. I have that picture hanging on my wall, signed by both him and Sean Payton. You
Nice.
know, it was incredible to watch his career as a player, as a leader. He would when you saw him step on the field, his players respected him so much and they followed him so much. And you know, the next stop is Canton, Ohio, and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And now he gets to enjoy being a dad and spending time with his kids, and that's all he probably ever really cared about once his playing time. When he was thinking about his decision to retire, is I get to spend time with my kids. I get to see my kids grow up. Uh,
Mhm.
so I know his kids are really excited. They're the ones that got to break the news to the world.
Yep.
But it's going to be sad to see number 9 not on the field on Sundays anymore.
I think we had a podcast after they lost, and I remember seeing Tom Brady and him on the field and, having that moment with his kids, and for some reason at that moment, I knew it was over. I knew deep down, I didn't think he was gonna come back. I kept holding out, but you talk about his, career, most career passing yards, most career pass completions. He's a Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP, two-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, a Walter Payton Man of the Year award, NFL Comeback Player of the Year, which of course Alex Smith was this year. And when you're a comeback player, you really, really, really had to endure something to come back. And I think this year, I knew we were getting to that point in his career when he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play those 2 or 3 games. That's when I knew, okay, something's wrong with Drew Brees, and it might be getting to that point. But I mean, all the awards he has won over the years, he's gonna be missed in New Orleans. Um, Man, he gave so much to the city of New Orleans, and to really put himself in that position and put the city on his back and just lead the team like he did for so many years. What he was in the league with
15 years
years, but
or 10 years.
15 years with the Saints, and it's just incredible what he did. And man, Saints Nation took a hit. I tell you what, I'm saddened by that news, but um, he's not going far though. He's not going far. He signed a contract with NBC to work as an announcer. So We will be seeing Drew Brees around. It's funny because does he turn into Tony Romo and call like every precise play? And then you just wonder, when is he going to take over Sean Payton's job? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Tony Romo, wow, I I soak in every moment that I get to listen to him on a broadcast. He's so intelligent, and I'm sure Drew Brees will be the same way. I don't know if people are going to be, oh, he's copying Romo, he's doing all this, he's doing that, but best of luck to him moving on away from the sport. It was one hell of a ride. So,
it was.
uh,
It
so
was. So, who replaces him? Do you think the Saints will be back in the playoff picture next season?
we'll have to see. I did see that they just restructured Taysom Hill's contract. Whether he's the next guy to be that leader, that franchise quarterback, I don't really know, because even in those games that he was able to start, he was serviceable, but he doesn't throw the ball enough to
Mhm.
to at least in my opinion to be a number one quarterback in the NFL. But we'll see what happens. I think they're gonna let Drew enjoy retirement and let the Saints Nation kind of heal from this before they really announce who the next starter is going to be.
Yeah, and it's funny because I just saw the pop up right now. They just re-signed Winston, so I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be something else over there in New Orleans, but still gonna be a Saints fan. Never gonna let that down. So I just wish them the best, and I hope they actually get to get to make it through the tournament. Um, actually to the playoffs next season. Baseball's around the corner. Baseball is around the corner. Are you not getting excited for that?
Oh, I'm so excited for baseball. I follow spring training every day.
Mhm.
April 1st cannot come quick enough. I'm ready for opening day. I'm ready to go to a baseball game again. I'm ready to, you know, see something, because God, I missed going to a baseball game last year, and I'm so ready for it.
I begged for a TV in my office for 2 reasons. 1, the tournament, so I can keep up with all the NCAA tournament stuff, whether it be men's or women's, and 2, opening day, because I
Hmm.
know I will be at the Alamo Dome on opening day, and I can't miss my Yankees. I cannot. Um, you know, what do you think about the Astros this season? I know they're having some issues in spring training, kinda keeping some guys healthy, and they're trying to keep it on the down low, I know that, but are they gonna come out strong this season again?
I think they will. The AL West still isn't a super amazing division. The Astros are still extremely talented. Yes, we lost Springer. Yes, Verlander won't be playing this year. We have a lot of young pitchers that are going to have to take up the mantle, and did. I mean, you saw it last year with Framber Valdez, who I know had a finger injury recently.
Mhm.
Who knows if he's going to be ready for the start of the season? Um, and Noli Paredes, I love that guy coming out of the bullpen. Comes in, he's kind of jerky, awkward, but I mean, man, he throws the ball so well. Christian Javier, I love him as well. And then we bring in Jake Odorizzi. He's a very solid pitcher, and he's had some issues last year, but Brent Strom is the best pitching coach in the business, and I know that he's going to have Jake Odorizzi ready to play come the season. So I think that the Astros are still the team to beat in the AL West. I think they still have a good shot at making it to the AL championship game, AL
Mhm.
championship series. But there's also a lot of good talent in the AL. The White Sox are going to be incredible. They were very exciting to watch last year. I think the Twins are still going to be very, very competitive, and of course the Yankees are going to be very tough to beat with that powerhouse of a lineup. But I say it every year. It's all going to be decided on the field. I can say this, say that, but baseball is one of those sports that's just so hard to predict. So I'm so ready for it to get started.
So, Aaron, let's talk about baseball. as far as the fans coming back. Last year, obviously, no fans. This year, some stadiums, the Rangers are saying they're going to have a full capacity stadium soon, very soon.
Mhm.
How hard is it, do you think, playing in a game with no fans?
I
Or
think it's incredibly hard. You know, athletes feed off of the energy that the fans bring.
Mhm,
And I think this last year for all sports that weren't able to have fans, it was tough for those players. You hear it all the time where they were like, "Oh, we miss the fans. We wish that they could come watch us." That's why they do it. Yes, they make a lot of money, but I mean, you see so many players talk about what the fans mean to them, and especially in a sport like baseball where it's a very slow moving game. You need that fan energy. It's what helps you get through and helps you stay locked in and excited. So I think it's very important to have fans back. I think the Rangers are maybe going a little too much too soon.
mhm.
But they want to open their stadium, and I can't blame them for that. But at the same time, we have to analyze where we're at right now, and I just don't feel that there's enough people vaccinated in the state to fully open and we're just not ready for that. So I did see that they want to open to 100% capacity by opening day. We could see a spike in that area. Who knows? But I'm ready to get back to a baseball game, a Major League Baseball game, and I'm definitely gonna be getting to one or 10 or 20 this season.
I know I have not looked at the schedule, but my buddy in Michigan circled some dates for me for the, Detroit Tigers and Yankees game, so I might just break away to Michigan for a little bit to go watch some baseball, but, another field I get to check out, but I tell you what, man, I am excited, but, you have your little brother playing baseball in high school, obviously, Bel Air, um, and you talked about the fans, but how much of it affects also the high school kids, middle schoolers, even the college crowd, compared to the MLB players who, kinda grew up on that, and they can kinda adjust the field noise and everything they can do, but how much of it does it take away from high school kids as well?
Well, one thing that I think about, especially in Texas, high school kids lost a whole year of baseball. I mean, this all happened in March when, they're only a few weeks into their season, and they lost their whole high school season pretty much. I think it was very hard for them, and it has been pretty hard for them. Um, but as a coach at the school that I'm at, we try to keep a positive attitude. We do enforce masks. We when we're on the field, they can kind of hold it over their chin, or we have like neck gaiters that they can just pull over their face or drop it down to their neck. When they're on the field, they don't have to worry about that. But when we're huddled up or in the dugout or anything like that, we wear our masks, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to ensure that we have a season. For my brother and for public schools, they it seems like everything's kind of getting back to normal. Um, I see all the time with my brother and his friends and their posts and the kids that I coach in the summer. I mean, they're having fun, and that's the one thing that I try to instill in all my players, and is that just go out and have fun, because especially if the last year has taught anybody anything, it's that you know you never know when your time's going to be up. You never know when you're going to hang it up. And
Mhm,
I feel so badly for those seniors last year, the seniors of 2020 that didn't get to play their senior season and play that out, and especially those that weren't going to go play in college. It's sports is something that is very important to people, and um, it was very tough to see when everything got canceled last year. So I'm hoping and praying that everything stays the same right now, because we're able to have our season, we're able to play baseball, we're able to have fun, and let go enjoy it.
Yep, definitely. I just, as I'm thinking about, the Final Four, 412 or 450, I think they actually said the number was 412, but we'll say 450 is the fans allowed for each of the first rounds
Hmm.
at for the NCAA women's. That's family and friends mainly. I
Hmm.
mean, it's kinda crazy that there's a number to it, but then you think about it, if we start letting the public in and start getting all those, things get a little crazy. So they're trying to keep it in that bubble, and then we're slowly gonna open up capacity for the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's easy to do it in an environment of a stadium, but on the baseball field, obviously, it's different. I just feel like it's a distraction in a way, or there's not that noise to kinda help, hype up, your players. And as a pitcher, I think that's what I really wanted to ask Aiden, but even you as a catcher and being the coach, do you think there's a kinda advantage for the batter when there's not that much noise or, I don't know, surround sound type stuff going on for them? Can the pitcher really lock in without the distractions of home plate and everything else going on
You,
there?
I think it's actually more of an advantage to the pitcher. They get to. I love it for the love of the game with Kevin Costner. I
Mhm.
mean, he has that thing where he clears his mechanism and everything else in the world shuts off and he hears nothing but it's just him on the mound throwing to the catcher. He doesn't hear any shouting from the stands, anything like that. He blocks it all out. So I think having a quieter atmosphere is actually more beneficial to the pitcher. um, there's not as much going on. They can just focus on what they're doing. They don't have to worry about anything. In high school, obviously the parents are going to be there. You're not gonna keep a parent away from seeing their kid play a baseball game. Um, so it it is and it will be kind of interesting to see. We've had fans at our games. We've had 3 games this season. We've had fans at every single one of them. We enforce that they wear masks and social distance. We don't have our normal bleachers at our field. They bring their own chairs. They spread out, and that's just us doing our duty to make sure that we can get through this and that we don't have any issues. Um, if we're traveling, we wear our masks in the vans or in the buses. Because if somebody does test positive, we've done our part. We've worn our masks. We've done everything that we can do to keep our team safe from getting the virus. And obviously, until enough people are vaccinated, we're gonna keep doing that. And I think the governing bodies of Texas sports, even with Governor Abbott's decree that says you don't have to wear masks and everything can open to 100% capacity, our governing bodies for Texas high school sports has put it in our hands, and it's essentially a school by school basis where whether they're enforcing masks or not, our team is going to continue wearing our mask even if the opposing team isn't wearing their mask.
Mhm.
It's just something that is important to our leadership at our school, and we're going to keep doing that until this is over. Um, is it annoying? Yes, I hate it, especially when I'm trying to talk to my players, stuff like that. I hate wearing my mask, but I'm going to do my duty to make sure that I'm keeping everybody around me safe.
Aaron, you're my hero, buddy. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for discussing that with me. That was one of the things that I, kinda wondered, what truly is going on in the minds of the players or the coaches. Perfect example, you said it. I mean, it's difficult to understand as a fan. We're watching basketball and we're seeing the more sponsorship displays and we are seeing our home court advantage folks right there. Um, you know, when I watched the Spurs game, I always used to look for Aunt Judy. Oh, there's Aunt Judy in her seat, cheering on the Spurs. This year it's just an empty seat. You don't even
Mhm.
um so kind of getting the aspect from that and the viewpoint from a coach and something that nobody really knows unless you play the sport. and to be
Mhm.
able to share that with everybody today, I think is pretty cool. Um, it's tough because you're right. A lot of these kids did not get to have a season last year. Those seniors did not. There's no prom, no graduation ceremonies, really. Very limited. I know when I graduated, the whole crew was there. I mean,
Mhm.
I think there was like 30 of y'all there cheering me on when I graduated. So to see only 2 parents allowed or stuff like that, it was depressing, it was sad, and, we didn't even get to see the Little League World Series.
Mhm.
Most I mean, something that I enjoy watching, didn't get to see that. The Olympics was postponed. This year, actually, the Olympics is around. Softball and baseball are back in, which I'm excited about.
Mhm.
Um, and break dancing is a sport now. The Olympics. Did you see that?
I did. I did.
Dance. I don't get it, but whatever.
Yeah, I love the Olympics. It's something that I look forward to both summer and winter.
Mhm,
Um, it's just so fun to watch. The best athletes in the world competing in one place. Thank God, baseball and softball is back. Who knows if we're going to have it again? I think we benefit from it being in Japan and just being such a hub for baseball and softball.
mhm.
But I love the Olympics so much, and it's definitely a time where everybody is very prideful and have a lot of you get to see all the flags from all over the world flying, and it's gotten me into a bunch of sports that I didn't think that I was going to be into. you
Definitely.
know Swimming, which of course I loved watching Michael Phelps
Of
race.
course.
And I remember when he was going for 8 gold medals at one in one Olympics, and just the amount of excitement that you know my mom we were watching it and jumping up and down. Like it's something that you just don't get from everything. And I've gotten into water polo. If it's an Olympic sport, I want to watch it because these are the best in the world at what they do. And not having that last year, thank God we have it. We're getting it this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm ready for the Olympics. I think it starts in like June or July, and I'm super excited for it.
It does, and, I can't wait to see, Kat Oserman, of course, back with the US team. Um, she's been practicing. She thought she wasn't even gonna play in this Olympics because of COVID. She thought she was gonna kinda end up stepping away from the game because she didn't think she could bounce back and stuff, but she's been training. She's gonna play. Um, the NBA is having to speed up their schedule because of the Olympics, playing a lot more back-to-backs, kind of not really a shortened season, but do you think in the long run that's gonna hurt them in the Olympics?
I don't really know. I think the normal 82 game schedule that they usually play, I think it's like a 60 game schedule or something like that this year. Um, Honestly, it might benefit them. I don't think they're going to struggle the U.S. Team, obviously they're going to be the U.S. basketball team.
Mhm,
I do know that there's certain players. I don't think LeBron's playing. I don't think James Harden is playing on the team, but the U.S. is still gonna be the best team and the team to beat in the Olympics. Um, but I mean, there's also a lot of really really good international talent, and you're seeing it in the NBA with Giannis, Luka, Porzingis, all these guys that come in from Europe, and so. Uh, it might help them. It might keep them fresher for the Olympics. Um, because normally their season would be done for a couple months, and then they kind of have to get back into game shape. And this way, they're going straight from their season in game shape, ready to go for the Olympics. Um, but yeah, honestly, I always forget about Olympic basketball because there's just so much more going on. But it's getting more interesting because of the amount of talent that's coming from these international teams.
mhm. The WNBA even has to take a break between their season because of the Olympics. Um, I always think that's kind of a tough thing for them because it puts a lot of pressure on those athletes. The travel, the preparation of the US team, and then turning around and playing back on your original WNBA team. Um, Sue Bird, kinda up there. She's in the 40s now.
Yeah.
Diana Taurasi, some of those players, but you're right. I mean, it's the Olympics. once in a lifetime goal. I think Sue Bird's going for her 4th Olympics. I mean,
Yeah.
to be able to be that decorated of a player and win gold medals for your country, there's some kind of special hype that just kicks in, and it's great to see, and I just can't wait for it. I hope we manage to have it. But you're right, watching the Olympics and watching almost every sport. I know my sleep schedule during the Olympics is insane because I want to see everything, and you know we have some tremendous athletes out here, and it's going to be fun to watch this season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it like I said, it's more of our country pride and having pride in the red, white, and blue. And
Mhm.
um, you know, I just watch everything, even in the Winter Olympics. I think 2 or 3 years ago when we had the Winter Olympics and the U.S. men's curling team was winning gold, I was going crazy. I was like, I never thought I would be into curling, but this
Oh,
is awesome. So it's just I want the U.S. to win everything. Obviously, that's not gonna happen, but
mhm.
the U.S. is always at the top of the medal leaders, and um, I'm just ready for it because it's such a fun event to watch. And um, it's definitely something, especially in this time when all these countries can come together and compete under the same roof. Knowing that the year that we've had, it's going to be something very special to watch. And there's obviously going to be issues with COVID. I think you know it's going to be impossible to stay away from having an issue like that. But seeing all these countries, all these athletes competing is going to be such a uplifting experience for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's really kind of the break we need. Like we're talking about baseball for us and having fans back. I think the Olympics is really gonna put people back into the livelihood of sports, and I think that's a pretty great thing to look forward to. But Aaron, it's been fun hanging out with you again.
Again.
We have to do this more often again. Again and again and again. We'll constantly do it. But
Yep.
you know, sports, here we go. We're in the heat of it. I know we talk about the NBA and the NFL, but when you get to this point, the tournament, NBA finals, Olympics now, baseball, all at the same time, it's going to be crazy. And it's going to be a great, great atmosphere to kind of keep our mind off things, too. I think still there's some of us that are kind of wary about, where we're going as a country, with COVID and everything else going on. So to kind of be able to, ease our mind and turn on the TV and watch some games is a pretty cool thing. Um, so we'll see what happens. But man,
Mhm.
thanks for coming on. We're gonna have to keep our bracket updated and see where we land. But I
Yep,
will
for
see
sure.
you at the tournament, but I am actually thinking about taking this into my office at the Alamo Dome and doing the show from there. So
All right.
maybe I'll post some pictures and get a sneak peek at some things. But definitely gonna be fun. The NCAA tournament around the corner, few days away. Happy St. Patrick's Day, buddy.
Hey, same to you, and go Cougs.
Oh, there you go, UConn. Well, it's been fun. I hope you guys have a blast with us. Again, we'll keep you guys updated on the bracket and anything else sports related. But Aaron, peace out, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.